So today is Wednesday, and next week, Friday at 9 a.m., Ultra Trail Drakensberg 2024 100 miler will start for me. So I am properly into my taper. I quite enjoy a taper. I have a friend who always follows up with me about how his taper is going and my taper, because I can't speak for him, but I get the feeling for myself from the past that if you always focused on distance as your main training metric, that when you taper you don't get your distance in, that you get yourself all worked up. Whereas for myself, I focus on quality of training, which would be time-based. It would be elevation, gain and loss, as well as my own rate of perceived exertion. So I actually enjoy the taper. For me, I've done what I can, and my job is to pitch up there as fresh and rested and healthy as possible. No amount of training between now and next week Friday is going to help, but I actually enjoy mornings off and sleeping in when I'm training all the time. I mean, it's a lot of training to train for a 100 miler. Why am I going to Ultra Trail Drakensberg 2024? Well, by some absolute miracle, I came third last year, and as an elite, I have been invited back. I got given an entry, so I am feeling very chuffed, privileged, and thankful for that opportunity. So I guess, what are my aims for next week? In 2023, like I came third, and I don't know how. I honestly don't. I do recall that the big chat beforehand, and my fear was altitude, because you start in Lesotho and you climb to the highest point in southern Africa, and everybody, and I know a few people who the altitude has clapped and then they fade, and that was my biggest fear. And I don't know if the altitude affected me positively last year, but I felt like $1,000,000. I went off like a rocket, and I actually I actually ran in the lead for like the first 20 Ks. I don't know how. There's a video when Ryan Sands won UTD, and I know the front runner, they have one of the Lesotho residents on those amazing horses lead the front runner out. And I had this fantasy in my head of, yes, how cool would that be? But I never expected it to be a reality. And by some miracle, that was me. I was the front runner running with the horse, and that will be my biggest memory from that event. But I've done a few 100 milers. You pay a price when you go off too fast for your ability, and the next day and the second half was a complete slog. I mean, I can remember literally walking with my sticks like a zombie, being half awake, not knowing what's going on, not being able to run, and just not caring about places, and shuffling my way to a finish in what turned out to be just over 30 hours. So for me, my aim next week, first and foremost, is to have fun. I'm driving down with a good mate of mine, Hubry, from Strength and Honor Endurance, and he is such a lekker oak. And number one, I want to have fun with my mate. We're camping together. I want to enjoy and appreciate the experience and the fact that I have the ability to do this. So that's, for me, is my number one aim. Number two, I want to do better than last year. And what I mean by better is not improve on my third place. I mean, I have the genetics that I have, and it's nice after 10 years of doing something, you clap the odd podium, and if some people aren't there, that's not it. I worked hard and I clapped that podium, so I must own that. But that's not my aim. I want to improve on my time of last year. I want to take the lessons from your last year, go off a lot more conservatively this year, which is what you should do on a 100 miler. Not slow, like if I feel good, I feel good. Obviously, if I feel bad, different story. But conservatively, and build an innings, and that I have energy for the second half where I can actually run and it's not just a slow slog. And where I end and what happens, as long as I've enjoyed the experience and I've applied those principles, it will be a win for me. The other thing is to keep eating and nutrition top of mind. I've been learning that it's not to eat when you're hungry. That's actually wrong. I have a plan that I want to eat a certain amount of calories per hour and try and keep that up irrespective of how I feel and my hydration. So number one, if I can have fun with my mate, if I can improve on my time last year, I want to go under 30 as a goal. I'll say it here. Then, and number three, just enjoy this beautiful experience that I have, and obviously finish the race, right? There's no guarantees in this kind of thing, but finish the race. Then, hopefully I can tick it off as a successful weekend. So these are my pre-race thoughts. Stay tuned and let's see what happens. Happy days.